Well, you can feel it in the air that feature season is really beginning to gather momentum, and before you know it, we will be into that big seasonal opener in KZN, and that's the Drill Hall Stakes. But of course, we have weekend racing that is halfway through. Turpentine, memorable day on Saturday, hopefully had by all, and it will be recounting all the heroes that befell us. And of course, hopefully you've been getting in touch via our socials, the X handle and our WhatsApp number. Let's talk about the three feature races as well as the supporting cast at Hollywood Bets of Scottsville and Peter Maritzburg. It is an 8-race program, and we go straight to that first. And first of all, warm welcome to Mr. Burrows, and in the studio is Mr. Marie. Race number one, that is off at 12:35. I was just saying it is almost palpable that feature season is just around the corner in KZN.
Yeah, it's exciting times here. So
Exciting times
you always
ahead.
want to see the different provinces clash and the best horses take on each other.
Yes.
So yes, whether it's Joburg, KwaZulu-Natal, or Western Cape, when that happens, we all tune in.
And of course, that is the neutral ground. You can't say altitude, you can't say this and this. But fair dues to the guys who've raided Candice Bass Robinson and Justin. I think he raided on Classic Day. And of course, Brett Crawford. He's got a satellite here, and he's certainly a big supporter. Mr. Burrows, very good morning to you. Welcome to our preview of Scottsville, and I'm sure you're feeling the excitement beginning to build up as far as the features are concerned, and we're in for a treat this coming season.
Yes, definitely. I always look forward to the KZN season with all the Raiders. It's very exciting. Let's start off in the first now. Cecil, I like this horse Quid Pro Quo. I see they've fitted a pair of blinkers on her. I'm not sure why so early in her career, but maybe she's still a bit backward and they're trying to get her to focus more. I don't know I can't answer that. But if everything goes according to plan, I think she's a filly loaded with ability and she could win. The dangers was Nawe, a very good debut. They expected a big run. She was drawn 10 out of 10 around the bend. She flew up late, and Richard Fourie takes the ride. And then the obvious inclusion has to be Whistle the Tune. Her best run to date was her last start, beaten 3.5 lengths by one stripe. But this is a testing 1200, and I thought maybe she's a 1,000-meter horse. So I'm going Quid Pro Quo over Wazanawe and Whistle the Tune, your favorite.
Okay, so that's the three horses that Darren would suggest. Let's have a look at what sort of a graphic we have as far as race number one. Before we do that, what about you?
Cecil, I've only gotten the two horses, 8 and 14. I think the blinkers have been fitted because this filly gets lost in her races. She always finds that flat spot. But if you listen to the post-race interview by Richard Fourie last time out, he had high praise for this filly. I just hope she doesn't overdo it with those blinkers because she will be competitive. The form line has certainly stood up with the second and third winning and the fourth winning indirectly. I backed her up with anything that comes out of that Western Cape province.
Yes.
Now, Little Ballerina's franked that form line, and so has Lion Rampart. Franked the 14's form line. So, yeah, 8 and 14 will get through the first leg.
I think 6 winners to come out of that Little Ballerina form line, huh? Wow.
Sure.
That's right. There it is. By pot, it's an outlay of 96 Rand, and there is a banker in leg number 2, which we head to next as we start on the PA. All right, we move on to the place accumulator. A couple of unraced horses in this bet with the best maiden play deserve the 1,200 meters, and do take note of the commencement of that place accumulator. It is at 13:10. Now, as far as the betting is concerned at this early stage, the 8 Teriyaki will have a lot of followers. That's 7-10, and I see in computer form it has been made the best bet by our expert Jermaine Maharaj. 9-2 is the 3 Field Marshal. The 5 Flying Coolers at 11-2 is 11-2. Number 6 Romans Revenge, it's 12s and better bar those. It is Mr. Burrows who's going to give us his first thoughts on this maiden plate. A couple of unraced horses. Race number 2, a field of 9 to face up. Do you agree with that short pricing about Teriyaki?
I'm not a big fan of Teriyaki, but when you look at what he's taking on of the race runners, he's got to be the right horse. But I'm just a bit nervous. I'm not sure why. there's a couple of nicely bred first-timers. Field Marshall from the Frank Robinson stable, a lovely Lancaster Bomber colt out of a Western Winter Mare, Marceline. This horse could go well on debut, but we know Frank, normally they improve in their second start a lot more, but this horse could be competitive with Muzzy. Now, number 6, I'm not sure what price this horse is or if there's any market support. Roman's Revenge, a fire away out of Chambray. That's a very good dam line. Piet Bunzai owns it. We're recording on Friday, so I haven't had a chance to speak to him. But this horse on pedigree alone could run well. So Teriyaki, the best of the race runners, and numbers 3 and 6 I have respect for.
It's 11-2 at the latest that I saw a few minutes ago. In fact, yesterday it wasn't priced up at all, and now it's showing 11-2 on one of the forums that I've gone on to, Mr. Burrows.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Marie. Now let's talk about race number 2, Teriyaki, 7-10. What you can say is that the ownership is in great form. Good to see, because she's been a loyal patron. And Tony Riverton, obviously the trainer to Mrs. Mary Liley. I'm sure they are having a whale of a time.
Cecil, when Tony books Richard Free, you have to sit up and take notes. Let's look at their stats together. 28 runners, 13 winners. No disrespect to the jockeys that have ridden him recently, but Richard Free is a jockey up. Now, if you saw this horse being led into the winners enclosure last time out, because he lost the race he was demoted, Tony was furious. He knew the writing was on the wall there, and the objection was going to be upheld. Not only was Tony furious, I was furious too, because I'd backed Plettenberg, who was butchered. Should have never lost. He's got the experience. Scottsville Straights is a tricky track and trip. He's got the experience. He hung out last time out. He's drawn hard. Maybe he can bank that outside running role. Richard in the irons. Confident PA banker.
You know, I love it when we talk about the incidents that led to your punting demise, because your emotions really come out. And there's a case in point, but I'm sure they will make amends. Not the right price, but at least that could be part of the autumn comes. I know you weren't on Teriyaki, but I hope Teriyaki does make some amends. It is 192 Rand the outlay, and the off time to race 2 is the 1:10 Interesting starter to the pick 6 at Hollywood Bets, Scottsville race number 3. This is the WSB Maiden Plate max payout of 20 million Rand. It's over the 1,200 meters. We should be underway with race 3 at 13:45. And of course, you will be within a touching distance of us via our socials, the X handle or the WhatsApp number. Let's have a look at the betting for race number 3. And it is the 2-year-old number 10, Cat's Pyjamas, your favorite. Calvin Abib retains the ride for the Frank Robinson stable after a very bright debut. Was quietly fancied at around a 4-1, expected to carry on by the people who price up. We've got a 4-1 about the 2 Glamours, Paul Laverty, owner and a trainer with Muzi aboard. And then you've got 5-1 about number 6, Run to Rear, and 5-1 about first timer number 7, Mr. Hot Stepper. That is Glenn Cotson and Richard Ferry with the first timer son of Ideal World. Right, Mr. Marie, let's talk about race number 3, Cat's Pyjamas. Where would that rank in your selections for race 3?
He's my second choice, Cecil. I liked his debut, very promising. The winner had the experience that day. He had one run. Just behind him was Famous Warrior, showed good improvements in his second start, so he can also progress further since that effort. Mr. Hot Stepper, Glenn Cotson secured the service of Richard. I think the betting may prove to be the best guide when it comes to his chances, but I'm leaning towards number 6 over here, Run to Ria. I like the fact that he's back at Scottsville, back up the straight. He's run his best races over this course in distance, and I recommend an each-way bet on number 6, Run to Ria.
All right, let's have a listener in to Mr. Burrows, because he is, in fact, selected a pick 6 for us. And race number 3, just a sort of a pecking order of the horses you like in race 3.
Well, Cat's Pyjamas has to be a big runner. I thought that was a fair debut. Showed a bit of pace. It was a good run on debut. Can only improve. He is out of Seacat. I own the half-brother Kalp Forest. So he stays 1,400 a mile. Cat's Pyjamas won for the shortlist. Glamours has to be a big runner. I thought I fancied her last time out with bottom weight, and T-Tom Tipple just caught her late over 1,400. So she'll be competitive, and Run to Rio's another one for the shortlist.
Right, so there is the pick six suggestion from Darren. It is an inexpensive 840 Rand a pick six, and that is helped by the banker at the back, and that's number 6 in race 8, a Pretty Victory in the colours of the Ibrahim family with a 4 kg claimer on. We'll discuss that race when we do get to the curtain closer. That's 840 Rand, race 3, the first leg of the pick six. We've got a Pinnacle Stakes for the fourth. It is over the 1,200 meters. Once again, that's the start of the first of our 2 jackpots. It's off time of 14:20, and we've got Teflon Man making its KZN debut. Has certainly been a pretty solid for Dean Calamere. Craig Zaki retains right, obviously being the stable rider at 22-10. The 6 Captain Bombshell 11-2, 11-2. Number 7 Good Traveller 6-1, and a better bar those. Darren, I was just saying to Daryl, Good Traveller seems to be around for so long and yet still a 5-year-old, and Scottsville is not the worst track it's encountered in its career.
No, he actually loves Scottsville, and he's back to best off his current rating. Last time out, I actually took the exactors boxed with Gladiatorian. I thought Good Traveller was the only danger at a big price of 16-1, and he got up for second. He did travel a little bit wide. I think he's a massive runner with 55.5, and I see the jockey booking of Richard Fourie speaks volumes. So he's one of the leading lights. Teflon Man, he might just need his comeback run in KZN, but he won very well last time out. And the testing 1,200 could suit him down to the ground because he got going last time out from an impossible position to win. You've got Sunblushed, also a very good sprinter. He'll be right there at the finish. And if you like Sunblush, then Captain Bombshell's got a chance. So I'm going 5 and 7 to fight it out, and 2 and 6 to fight it out for minor money.
Thank you very much. 5 and 7, at that being Teflon Man and Good Traveller, and then at 2 and 6, Sunblushed and Captain Bombshell, respectively, could complete the Boxer quartet. Mr. Marie, you're going to give us a jackpot, but as far as the race is concerned, I see our man here, Mr. Maharaj. It's always good to get all the perspectives, and he knows his KZN racing inside out. He's gone with a recent, I felt, to visit a Sovereign State, who ran in the Dingans last seen running on the 25th of November. That race won by Purple Pitcher.
No, you say he knows he's racing.
No, he knows his KZN racing inside.
No, I mean, let's hope this horse can bounce back to his best. His last 2 runs have been a little bit disappointing, but it's never easy to raid the Highveld. Some horses come unstuck, and he's certainly promising, but he needs to return to form. Sunblush Cecil. He has a course and distance specialist. You can never ignore this horse up the Scottsville Straight. It appears as if he's the stable elect. Rachel sticks with him. Very surprised he won a 5 furlong at Gravel last time out. Not his cup of tea. They did go very far, so it suited him, but he won well. So I like the chances of number 2, Sunblush, but I've got healthy respect for number 5, Teflon Man. This horse, last time Darren labelled him going through the 300, I thought he's got it all to do because he was held up. When he got a clear run on the outside, he mowed them down. He could have won it much easier than that. But Sunblush has got the racing fitness on his side. So 2 from 5, respect for the 7.
All right, so Darren has gone wide, as he suggested in his preview, and then he's got 2 horses by 2 horses, and then wide at the back. That'll be race number 7. That is the start of our first jackpot. All right, we get into the halfway stage of our program. In fact, we're into the second half of the innate race program. It is the first leg of the second jackpot, a field of 7 carded. And looking at the betting, it is the Raider number 6 one-way traffic, Justin in town. And he has started off with a decent performance from the first few runners. He sent out 15-10. The 7 Cape Eagle, 17-10 is 13-2. And better bar those. It is the 2 Rocky Reef, who's part of that 13-2 bar. Race number 5, this is the first of our features. This is, of course, the World Sports Betting Highland Night Cup. It's non-black type. It's over the 2,400. How do you see the race itself?
Cecil, what's interesting is that Richard reunites with one-way traffic. This also has been victorious 5 times to date in his career. Richard Fourie has ridden him to victory on 4 of those occasions. So they really get on extremely well, the 2 of them. And Mr. Snaith has hit the ground running in KwaZulu-Natal this season. So in a small field, just as long as he settles, because on time to time he has had a tendency to over race. As long as he settles, he's going to be very, very competitive. I've just backed him up with one other Cape Eagle. Now, this horse has certainly settled in his races recently, so I don't have any problem now that he's been stepped up in trip. He loves it at Scottsville. Serena's ridden him twice and he's hit the crossbar on both occasions. He's certainly will want to get his head in front this time round. The stable did have a few disappointing runners at Hollywood Bets Gravel during the week. So let's hope it was just a once-off and they can get back on winning ways. So 6 and 7 to fight tonight.
6 and 7, the top two in the betting, Mr. Burrows. Are you of the same thought process, a one-way traffic, to make it a seasonal bow and a winning seasonal bow?
Well, he's a very good horse, but he's been disappointing one-way traffic. The eye-catching run of his has to be that Durban July consolation race where he didn't get into the July and he ran in that race and he absolutely trotted up. And we thought this horse was going to win a lot of races and he hasn't quite delivered. I don't know if they've ever fitted blinkers on him, but I thought that was an option in time to come. But he's definitely one for the shortlist. I thought a two-horse race with Cape Eagle. Cape Eagle, now he goes to the head of affairs. He dictates, they move up to him and he finds another gear, which suggests that 2-4 is not going to be out of his reach. So I'm not going to split one-way traffic and Cape Eagle.
Okay, so they're the two experts here, very much in the same thought process. 6 and 7 to be the ones who fight it out and justify that betting of 15 to 10 and 17 to 10 respectively. Off time to race number 5 is 14:55, our first feature getting underway there. Right, it is another race that will require stamina. It's 17:50 the distance to a long-standing listed feature that is the World Sports Betting Scarlet Lady. It's off at 3:30, and of course a reminder, lest we forget that we do have our contact details at the bottom of the screen. It is our X handle as well as our WhatsApp numbers that do get in touch with us as we continue to look forward to your input. Right, race number 6. Let's have a look at the betting now. We had 15 to 10 about one-way traffic in race number 5. Mary's Green Light is at 3 to 1 the favorite. Number 8 Ivy League 9 to 2, 5 to 1. Number 9 is Celtic Beauty 11 to 2 about the 7 Indian Ocean. It is 15 to 2 and better by those quoted runners. Well, I do remember you speaking glowingly about the 9 Celtic Beauty last time out, Mr. Burrows, and so far hasn't disappointed. And then the post-race interview just underlined what you said, that was Tony Riverland and Mrs. Lydie, all suggesting that Celtic Beauty had a bit of a future ahead of it. And is this a stepping stone to bigger things?
Definitely. I saw it before her last start when she ran second to Minogue, first run out of the maidens. And I thought this filly's going to the tops. And she's still got some work to do to get there, but I think she's on the right track. And her last win beating Mascarena, who also, I believe, is a very smart filly. She won with a lot in hand. She was 10 to 1. I couldn't believe the price. And the exactor paid a fortune. And I thought it was a 2-horse race that day. And Celtic Beauty, for me, handy galloping weight, everything in her favor. I made the danger Indian Ocean. She's a very good filly, but the stable's a bit quiet. So for that reason, I'm going Celtic Beauty in a big way.
Celtic Beauty in a big way. Indian Ocean, stable companion, the 2 Juliet Tango, both capable on their day. I remember Indian Ocean winning its maiden in KZN around this time last year, or plus minus a few months. But do you rate that at all?
I do rate her. I just don't know if this is on the short side for her because she has been tested over further early in her career. So maybe she is more of a staying type. And like Darren says, the stable's going through a quiet period. Cecil, have a look at the best weighted. Now you'll see Celtic Beauty doesn't really feature, but don't be concerned whatsoever. This filly is the least exposed in the field. She's only having a 5th run, and she's well ahead of the handicapper. Richard knows her, and she has to be taken seriously over here because she's improving. Health respect for the Raider, Mary's green light. I loved her victory last time out. She showed a lot of guts in the finish. By now we'll know whether Donamo's franked the form out at Turfentine on Saturday. This has been recorded on Friday morning. But irrespective of that, Cecil, go back to her penultimate start. Have a look as she gave weight to Frances Ethel. She gave her 3 kilograms on that occasion. We all know what Frances Ethel has gone and done since then. So I'm focusing on numbers 9 and 10 here.
9 and 10, and it is for Mr. Burrows, the 9, a win selection, and he's been bullish about Celtic Beauty. And of course, Darren, as such, is also, Daryl rather, is very much in the same corner that Celtic Beauty can only go one way, and that is up. That's race number 6, the first leg of the last big 3. Another long-standing feature will be our penultimate event of the afternoon, the last of our feature races on the day. This is the World Sports Betting Sledgehammer listed. It's over the 1750. Now, it's off at 4:05 with the first leg of the last double. And the current favoritism is with another snake run of the 2 Future Swing. Last seen winning on the 6th of Jan. And that was a feature indicated in the Western Cape over the 2500. Drops again in trip to 1750. Ponte Pietra is at 22-10, the 3. Narina Trogan, who's certainly holding form since relocating to the region, 9-2. That is also in the betting number. 6, Imlens Yogududuma, who is at 5-1, 11-2, and better, bar those quoted runners. Now, as far as Imlens Yogududuma, that form line, if it ever needed franking, was emphatically franked on a Saturday with a raw victory. Okay, was having a pipe opener. It was wet conditions, but Imlens Yogududuma came out and won that race.
Yes, so like I touched in our previous preview with this also, I'm concerned about his hanging. It's putting me off. That's a concern for me. So I can actually see Narina Tragon confirming that form and finishing ahead of him. What's a worry over here is the pace in the race. You know, it's a very small field and there doesn't look to be a natural pacemaker. So that it could be a muddling run race. I thought 6-1 about Pyromaniac represents value. Now, his 2 runs with the, is it the blinkers or the tongue tie, Cecil?
Blinkers.
The blinkers.
The blinkers, rather.
Have been very, very promising. On the inside track, he was low flying. He just got touched off. Last time out, he gave a decent sort in play at 10 kilograms. That's a lot of weight. He's got fitness on his side. I think he'll be very, very competitive. But this was number 2, Future Swing, probably having his prep run in the province. I'm sure they've got some big plans for the son of Futura. He's on the upgrade, and he's got bigger fish to fry. So 4 from 2 for me, but the race doesn't stop there.
All right, Mr. Burrows. Now, this is where I always love to consult you, because Imlens Yogududuma, you once came out with a very, very good theory about what is the optimum trip. And this afternoon takes on a 1750 Atandu Mgodlo aboard. That is for Gareth Van Zyl. How are you seeing a race 7 pan out, and what are the chances of the 6?
Well, starting with Emilenzi Yokududuma, you know, I've always said he's like a 1,500 meter horse. And when he won over 1,500, that confirmed it. Because the 14 slightly sharp, the mile, he's been the 18 when he ran second in that feature behind Nexus. And he moved up really strongly and he didn't quite find extra. So I've included him in the play, but not one of my first selections. Ponte Pietra and Future Swing are my outright first choices, the 2 Cape Town Raiders. Ponte Pietra was actually favourite in that race against Future Swing behind Master Redoute, and he disappointed. He didn't move well. He doesn't really move well going down to the start, and that is a concern. Just watch him go down. But Future Swing, I'm waiting for this horse to step up in trip, because he's a serious stayer in the making. So 1 and 2, but anything can win this race.
Right, and in the case of Daryl Marie's double, it is 2 and 4 to likely winner. That is a Future Swing and Pyromaniac by 6, 8, 9, and 14 in that last leg. Okay, so as we look to round off a weekend local racing, it is race number 8 at Hollywood Bets of Scottsville that will have the last say. This is a spin with the best of fillies and mares. 76 is over the 1,200 meters. We should be underway at 20-5. And in that last race, It's 5-2 now, in from 28-10 about the 6 Pretty Victory in the Ibrahim Silks. The 8 Western Wishes is at 5-1, 7-1 the 12 Shanta's Pride, 15-2 about the 14 Maggie Smith, and then the 7 Harley's Fate. That is at 10-1, 11s and better bar those. Last word to you, Mr. Burrows. You tell us, you set the toner for what could be a very wonderful 8th and final race on the afternoon.
Yes, I'm excited about this filly, Pretty Victory. I think she's a really decent filly. I know the owner, Mr. Ibrahim, he rated her from day one. He said she shows great work. She landed a gamble on debut, beating Mascarena. Then she tried a mile in her second start, and I thought they were asking a bit much of her. But that's obviously how much they rate her, where she ran 7th to Rapidash. And then her comeback run after that in Cape Town, she was beaten a length and a half in a 17-horse field behind Pineapple Mint Green. And that was a cracking effort for a young filly. She does get the 4-kilo claimer, Brevin Plykies. I'm hoping that he can ride a good race. I wasn't happy with that ride on Now I Got You the other day. I thought he restrained him too much, but he's still a learning rider. He's done well. I'm hoping that he can get this filly in a good position and she can beat a field of this nature.
So there it is, that 6 Pretty Victory. That is a win suggestion from Mr. Burrows. He's hoping that second win will be coming at the 4th, the time of asking, back in the province. And your thought process to that last race of the afternoon.
I'm not going to be of any assistance of you, Cecil.
Well,
that's a very trappy race, yeah. Shona Kirsty Ives, obviously this is a filly, but she can be compared to another Michael Roberts inmate in Northern Warrior.
Yes.
Scottsville,
yeah.
Straight. Whether even when they go up in the ratings, they're still competitive.
Yeah.
So here's a filly that's in good form. She's got racing fitness on her side. She knows this course and distance extremely well. Maybe she can sneak into the money. She should be thereabouts. But yes, Cecil, trappy event.
All right, so perhaps to put words into Daryl's mouth, take that swing of 6 and 9. That could be the only way I can suggest, sort of straight line exacta 6 from 9. That is, of course, a confident selection from Mr. Burrows as we round off our weekend racing with Scottsville race number 8, Pretty Victory, hoping to make it 2 from 4. Gareth Van Zyl Jr. with the services of 4kg claiming apprentice of Brevin Plykies.